This multiplier effect looks at how that conversation is likely to not happen. This multiplier effect goes through even how we can get there. But the how we get there, the multiplier effect paper in itself, will certainly talk about the why and frame it. On the other side, we're going to be introducing the Grow Tribe Biodome Matrix, which is how you get there. It contains the diagnostic tools, and here are the things you need to create the sustainable ecosystem. So if I sum this up, I would say to you that the multiplier effect, it thinks beyond traditional coaching. It's asking the question, could we be doing better? It looks at the question of how we can do better by doing the gap assessment on the current traditional approach. And so when we think about the collective, we have to think beyond the individual in the collective. And leadership development does not think beyond the individual. The multiplier effect thinks about performance as a team. I'll close with this analogy on the multiplier effect. The multiplier effect is like a symphony. You got the head of that. That's probably not the right analogy. So let me skip this part. Let's go with a football team. You got a head football coach. And in that head football coach, he hires these other coaches. And these other coaches build out these teams. They build out these respective talent pools. In those respective talent pools, I don't like nothing about this, so we just gonna scrap all of this part. So, yeah, you can edit this out if you need to. Because I couldn't think of the orchestra lead name, I feel like I don't know if it's a conductor or not, but since I'm still recording it, you can just kind of go through this. Let me see, who is the head of an orchestra? Let's see what they're called. Okay, so now, if I gave you an analogy, in that analogy, or not even an analogy, but what I think in terms of where the multiplier effect you see the multiplier effect in orchestras. There's a conductor. That conductor is thinking about every single instrument that needs to be here. These instruments have their own skill and their own practice, but they're all working on the same song. So when they come together, because the conductor is quarterbacking this, I know what you're doing, I know what that person doing, I know what this person be, I know what's happening. So when I go and give you instruction on how you come in on this, I also know the corresponding tweak to say, hey, now that I've given them this instruction, you're going to hear this a little bit differently than you previously did. So now be aware of it. So when it happens here, the receptivity is already there. In dual immersion, when you give it to the leader and you're giving it to the team, and you've got somebody quarterbacking this to be able to understand what parts and how do we integrate them. In dual immersion, you start thinking about, what project do I have? What are the deliverables that I need? What are the skills that I need to deliver on this goal? And now I'm looking at the collection of skills. You got this strength, you got that strength, you got this strength. Okay, these three folks together, we feel like can put this together. Dual immersion starts to think through that in a way that currently doesn't happen now, where folks in silos just throw their folks there. In a conductor, you don't just join an orchestra. Right, there's trials. They know what they're looking for. There's the practice commitment. There's how this instrument plays with that other instrument. It's also looking through the two people and seeing the synergistic sort of space there. So there's a lot that's happening. But check out this multiplier effect paper, because it is going to change how you think about traditional coaching. And it's your call into question, you doing your own gap assessment about your own organization, your own boss, your own, if you are getting coached, how you are bringing what you get to your team. This multiplier effect is that. Thank you.